Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do the disclaimers and the trigger warnings, I am going to start it. Yes, I watched the inauguration. Not for the same reason everybody else does. You see, because I am an advocate, in particular because I do actually need, at the very least, somebody within the federal realm to be able to work with us, because that, quite frankly, is the only way we are going to stop the JRC. And right now, what I'm looking at is scaring me to death in regards to RFK Jr. I'm studying body language, facial expressions, everything that gives me a clue into who the hell we're going to be dealing with. And whether or not he's just going to turn this into, pardon my language, we curse on this channel, an absolute shit show. This pick to head all these health agencies not only has the capability of throwing the monumental effort it has taken in 4 years to get us back to where we were literally in 2016. This dude could literally drag us back 30 to 40 years just on this subject alone. We're not talking anything else like trying to end sub minimum wage for people who are disabled employees, because that's not something that's had the very much backing from any of the Republican side. No, I'm not pointing fingers at MAGA. I'm pointing a finger at the entirety of the Republican Party. You fuckers have been the ones over multiple years who've been the loudest voices in continuing to allow those sheltered workshops to continue on, and while their workers in those buildings get paid pennies on the dollar, but they learn the value of work, sir. Sir, most people can't even make it on minimum wage. How is a person to understand the value of work if you refuse to even allow them to experience the bare minimum? So yeah, I have to watch, I have to eyeball, I have to see what is it that we are going to have to, God help me, deal with over the next 4 years. And because I'm autistic and OCD, whatever details, whatever it is, whatever I can find out one way, shape, or another, when dealing with Republicans, I've understood for years, you need leverage. They don't understand any other language. Granted, I sure as hell over the last few decades have gotten a lot further with them than some of the Democrats out here in my state. But that's neither here nor there. So that's why I have watched it. Now, I know that as a matter of fact, any belief that there was actually going to be any lull in the mudslinging contests and overblown theatrics were not going to end after the election. They're just getting revved up. I'm going to take this afternoon to warn you all as well. Okay? The dramatics on both sides are just getting revved up. I'm warning you now so that hopefully you can keep yourself from being emotionally manipulated by one side or the other. I can't make you all realize you all don't have the experiences I have had in dealing with these people face to face. What we see on TV is not real, any more than my mask and becoming the doll is real. Okay? It's overdramatic, it's manipulative. Same thing politics always has been. It's just now more obnoxious because of social media. We never get a break it from it anymore. So now, for the first time, we can actually see it for the absolutely ridiculous, overdramatic high school shit it actually is. All right, done with that rant. We came to talk about disability politics, not me preaching to you how all these people are corrupt. Yes, every last one. Yes, even the favorites. Yes, even the fun ones. Anyways, if you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, all the pertinent links are right there in the description box. Autistic Koya's massive archive, which is where we get the bulk of material on the JRC, all the receipts, by large majority come from there. We also got Neuroclastics article in there where they interviewed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. The same article that got so deep under their skin they felt it necessary to spend their unlimited resources on trying to intimidate and manipulate Neuroclastic by threatening a defamation lawsuit. Neuroclastic told them where they could stick it, so please read the article, share it. Also, we got a link to their GoFundMe as well, because unlike the JRC, we do not have access to shady, unlimited resources, money, or income that seems to manifest out of thin air. Any help you guys could send us, we would very much deeply appreciate it so you can help them. It does go directly to Neuroclastic. I just call us because, well, why not? The freaking political leaders do. Anyway, now to the disclaimers. Well, trigger warning. God, I can't even think straight. It's been a long day. When we talk about places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please make sure to utilize the headphones. Also, folks, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity and we also speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and watching, parental supervision is advised. Another trigger warning. We are going into another JRC failed attempt at character assassination and victim blaming. Not to mention their word salad from hell version of trying to gaslight the planet Earth. So just be in preparation for that. Again, we're doing this sentence by sentence because apparently with this comment, we have to. Because I keep noticing more and more bizarre and disturbing crap every sentence. So, we've moved on from EL and now we're talking about RM. And holy crap, wouldn't you know it? RM also has the same thing extremely wrong here that EL does. RM is a 35-year-old man with a severe intellectual disability, autism spectrum disorder, and a severe behavior disorder, has suffered a long history of engaging in severe SIB and AB. JRC, RM is 35 years old. Is there anyone who wants to explain to me, like I'm a toddler, why the JRC is allowed with getting away with keeping these people here way past time they should have been transitioned into adult services and continue to collect $250,000 a year off of them? Please explain it to me like I'm 3. I'm going to ask it again. JRC, what is your program really? I think that is a fair question to ask, don't you? Because they present themselves as being a school residential program of last resort, right? Right? With every single other residential school program I know of, and I know a good deal of them, including the local one here, when you hit a certain age, it's not just expected, it's mandatory that you begin the process of transitioning these folks who are aging out of the school residential program to transfer into adult services. Now, before the JRC, but they're not adequate, and you don't know, and you don't. Fucker, I have worked with Missouri, either on a consultant voluntary basis or as my former position with the state at the Missouri Department of Mental Health, Division of Developmental Disabilities, Southwest Region, on almost 2 decades now. Okay? I am extremely well versed into how things are supposed to work. Know it like the back of my hand. Okay? If you're within the service system, you have stages that you go through throughout the service system. The reasons why those are there is because as a developmentally disabled person, what our needs, supports, and service needs are change as we age. Just like everybody else. Okay? If you have someone at a school residential program that is still there after the age of 26, you should be penalized at the very, very least. You want to know why, folks? Because it stunts progress. Okay? If you keep these kids in residential schools forever, you're going to continue to treat them, provide medicine for them, look at them like children forever. Explain to me, how the hell is somebody going to be able to progress and recognize the adult within themselves when you are keeping them stunted in high school? Because quite frankly, that is my nightmare. That is the definition of my hell. Okay? Could you even imagine that? Imagine that, folks. Being stuck in that school setting, being forced to do classes with kids way younger than you. Your treatment program and nothing changes. Where is the progress here? Where is the growth? But they're not having their behaviors because you are curbing those behaviors under threat of violence. You cannot, in any right mind, consider that real progress. It does kind of make me wonder if it's a little bit of them trying to hide. What I mean by that is if you're using literally the punishment model here, like the JRC does, if you do things the way they are supposed to be done and get those kids transitioned out into adult services like all the rest of us are, on time and exactly when you're supposed to, then these new programs they move on to are going to see very clearly that in actuality, in all the years they were stuck in that hellhole, in actuality, there was no progress, no growth, no improvement in quality of life, no matter what the JRC tries to sell you whatsoever. Matter of fact, those who did, thank you, Lord, go on to adult services at the appropriate times, because their survivors and the folks that work with them in those new programs have come forward to speak about it. Those kids have severe regression coming out of that place. We're talking extreme night terrors, flinching or running when needing to deal with direct care staff. Jennifer Masumba has mentioned how terrified she gets simply at the sound of Velcro. Doesn't exactly promote progress and growth and the quality of life that JRC's trying to sell, does it? Just saying. Money and hiding the fact that this is a barbaric, monstrous, evil, screw it, I'll use the term. It's like waiting for the Tartarus. It's horrific. And it's a lie. The truth of the matter is, they are raining down absolutely hideous, horrific brutality on these poor kids for no real reason at all. There has been no proven medical benefit whatsoever from this model that you can point me to and say, because they went through this school, they are out there, they are successful, they are a well-rounded individual, they don't have PTSD. Show me one, JRC. And I don't mean from your testimonial page. You bring them to talk to me face to face with no device on and not a single care worker in sight. In fact, you will need to leave the room too and then drive about 50 miles south with me with a chip right there on my phone so I can make sure of where your ass is actually sitting. Okay? Two things here. EL and RM should have never been allowed by the state of Massachusetts at all to be stuck at that school after transition age. That is absolutely outrageous. Outrageous! Another thing I'm noticing is, do the Massachusetts courts, when it comes to the JRC, not have any balls at all? Because what even is this here? The service system is set up the way it is for a reason. As you progress, as you get older, as your needs change, as some go away, they're no longer needs or where you need supports, others appear, because let's face it, as we age, new problems come with that. That's why you have it set up the way you do. You can't stick someone in a hellscape school forever and then advertise about how successful your school is, how greater quality of a life these kids have, when you never let them leave. Because even best of circumstances, we're going to talk about just public, regular high school, okay? If I had to be stuck in high school for the rest of my natural life, because that's my residential treatment program, I don't know, I'd find a sharp rock, break a mirror, find a gun, tase myself in the forehead or in the mouth, anything to try to end my existence or put my ass permanently in a coma, to not endure that special level of hell. That's just being stuck in a regular public high school. If there was a residential program and saying, no, this is your treatment program, this is what you have to do. Where's the light at the end of the tunnel? Where is this great quality and progress of life you all are talking about? But they go out with their families. Going out with your family is not afterwards coming home to your own place, Karen. It's not getting more and more control over your own life and the ability to make decisions in regards to your own life and what you want, that we all start gradually getting more and more and more of a say as we transition out from the high school era into secondary education, into the workforce, and into adult services. Even people who are in group homes, I went to several of them, they have more decision-making power, more independence, more of the ability to be an adult and live their lives in spite of being in a group home. And these two poor RM and EL. Now, if you remember when we went over to 2006, you remember how the JRC cried, but at group homes, they can sleep too long? Yeah, there's not too many perks to being an adult. One of the few of them is, as long as we are able to do our work and everything on time, we can go to bed when we want, and we can wake up whenever the hell we want. In fact, if it's our weekend, we can sleep however long we fucking feel like it. It's one of the very few perks of having the freedom of being an adult. But it isn't productive. Just because we are disabled does not mean we have to continuously, without break, forever, work all the time just to prove we have the right to exist and be treated with some goddamn human dignity. We deserve the right to blow off steam just like everybody else. Not everything has to be a goddamn life lesson, an opportunity to practice social skills. Do you do that to neurotypical people? No. You ever yell at a neurotypical person because they slept in a couple of hours? No. But you do it to us. But you're not being productive. Neither is the neurotypical who slept in 2 hours. Why aren't you yelling at them? Why do we have to constantly prove that we have a right to be here by always, constantly either having to make everything about work or everything about our disability? My God, that is one of the things across the entire service system that has always made me nuts. We deserve 3 days where we can blow off steam, be silly, go out and do what we want to do, not what everybody else wants to do, to not make everything a teachable goddamn moment. Mother of God, some of these people need to learn how to veg. Thank God my mom is who she is. There were a few people towards the beginning. Adult Services got read the Riot Act. Thank you, Mom. She's like, she's going to sit there on the couch and she's going to stare at the TV. I'm like, hey, Mom. Tell him. I know that's going off into left field here a little bit, but this deeply bothers me. How this place continues to get away with not just torture, but all the other shady shit they do, including keeping people there long after they should have been transferred over to adult services. Because if you don't think that that 55-year-old and the 35-year-old we're talking about this evening, those two folks, the JRC is still receiving and charging the state of Massachusetts and the school districts. Think about this. Should have been aged out of the system. The school district is paying for 2 men. One who's middle-aged, the other one who's on his way to becoming middle-aged, $250,000 a year tuition to stay in a school residential program. But they are very obviously needing to be in the adult programs. How are they allowed to get away with it? And when, in the name of God, will the Massachusetts courts ever grow a pair of balls and do their damn jobs right? I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to utilize the comments. I appreciate your time. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I do apologize for all the cursing, but really, The thing that this school continues to get away with and continues to exist with no one, literally no one ever going to jail. Like, is there some kind of, like, evil, dark mafia thing that's behind this? Because at this point, it makes no sense that somehow nobody, not even the federal government, has any power to bring this to an end. All right, goodbye, everyone. Have a good night.